Hey there, I'm doing a compressor clutch magnet, or you might say the clutch, on a Volkswagen 2005 Golf TDI. So I didn't take a video of me taking this apart, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it takes, how to do it. I think I went a little overkill, but that's all right. Here is the the magnet that I need to get to. I really find videos helpful for me preparing myself for what I'm gonna need tools wise and things like that. Like I said, I didn't take one of me doing the work, so this is the best I can give you. I really struggled with finding any information on how to do this, so I thought that I would go ahead and do it for you guys. The real key here is you have to decide if you're going to take the intercooler off. It fits in right here. It's if you're like me, a lot of times the idea of taking stuff off is a little daunting, and then you do it and you're like, man, that was totally easier. But this is where it goes, just like that. Comes right out. And then that's one decision you'll have to make. Obviously, if you don't do that, you don't really have to take the bumper off, and if you don't take the bumper off, it saves you some time. But the real thing is your motor mount. I don't think you can do it without doing the motor mount. So you take off your fuel filter, which then gives you access to your windshield washer reservoir, which is down there. And then your power steering reservoir, which then gives you access to the motor mount. When you have access to the motor mount, as you can see, it was unhooked, and the engine is sitting on a jack, so I can lower the engine that far to get access to the compressor. That was a little harsh, sorry about that. Otherwise, it'd be up like that, which would be, difficult. So that's the real key, is ultimately you get it down that far, you have access to everything you need, and it's really out there in the wide open with the intercooler removed. So it's really kind of painless once you figure out where everything is. Obviously bumpers are a pain in the neck. Everything's kind of hidden, clipped in there, odd ways, and I am not familiar with Volkswagen, so I work on a lot of Japanese cars, and they're kind of always the same except for Nissans. And then I jumped over here on this Volkswagen, and you just get used to how they do it, which is this clip here kind of stumped me a little bit, believe it or not. These guys, I don't even know if I did it right, but these clips here had me stumped. Up underneath the car, there's two screws that were a little hidden behind this guy. Somebody had a tow hook over here, so that was obvious there. What else? I think on my on the hood release, the hood release clips on there a little funky, and then otherwise these just clipped out, I think, pulled out, so that was kind of painless. What else? Did anything else get me? There's a pipe, an air tube, this guy here. Okay, so that kind of had to fish that out from all this stuff here to give you room. And then in my case, when you're actually taking the compressor clutch off, it was very typical, so I didn't feel like I needed instructions on that. Basically, I took the nut off the end, the clutch fell off, took the snap ring off, the pulley fell off. That's very typical, you know, unless you have to pull them off. That's very typical, you know, and kind of lucky, I guess, when it works out that way. And then obviously that's my magnet. There's a snap ring inside of there, and the magnet will come right off. I've already taken the screw off holding the wires. So I'm kind of, you know, when I work on jobs, I kind of imagine it as a hill, and getting it apart and getting the correct parts is like climbing the hill, and once you have the correct parts and going back together, you're going down the other side. So I'm at the top of the hill here on this job. I'm gonna go ahead and store it. I'm waiting for parts, so I'm gonna go ahead and store it with the motor in the relaxed position. It looks like I broke off maybe the previous, I don't remember breaking that off. Maybe the previous guy did it. I'm gonna look real close inside the intake, make sure it didn't drop in there. That's where the intercooler hose mounts on. It's this guy here. I think the previous guy did it. He had been in there quite a bit, and that looks kind of familiar, like it was like that. So that's where I'm at. We have the front nose piece here, a headlight in the box, the intercooler pipe. This is an air scoop for the intercooler, the grill, piece of styrofoam, and the bumper and the wheel that all came off. Over here, this is what my parts look like. Lug nuts, that all holds the bumper on. There's my motor mount. I don't remember, but I'll remember when I get there. Fuel filter, that was the washer reservoir, and the I think that was the fuel filter. That was this bracket here. That's what those are for. And then those long ones, I'll remember when I get there, I guess. And so here's the clutch, fell right off. The shims are still, the shims are still in there. I know if you look up other sources, you'll you'll see they tell you that you need to reuse the shims to get the right spacing. And then this fell right off. It has a snap ring and a bearing, and it just came right off. So that was relatively painless. That can be a pain in the neck, which is why you give yourself all that room. Maybe if I were to do it again, I would just get to the motor mount and lower the engine with the intercooler still there, and see if it all falls apart the way that mine did, because it might save you a little bit of work. But the flip side of that is, if you don't have a clean workspace, you end up breaking other things. So I might not regret doing it the way I did it.